do some more lives because I'm definitely gonna talk about the future for Francis Ngannou after putting together that great performance that shocked everybody. And Francis Ngannou won over a lot of fans, and uh, he won over a lot of people. Where Tyson Fury embarrassed himself and he embarrassed the sport of boxing by basically coming in there, uh, basically underperforming and pretty much getting beat. At the end of the day, you know, um, I know Apollo Creed said in Rocky 2 when he was seeking that rematch, where basically, his camp, his team were telling him, hey, we can go another direction. Why fight, Rocky Balboa again? And they were saying, hey, he's all wrong for you. And then he was like, after they told him, like, hey, man, let's move on. You won the fight. And he was like, yeah, I won the fight, but I didn't beat him. And I guess you could say the same could be said for Tyson Fury. He won the fight, but he really didn't beat Francis Ngannou. He got beat. Now, don't come on here and try to compare this to other fights. Apples and oranges, different strokes for different folks. Right now, we are talking about Tyson Fury. At the end of the day, Tyson Fury had no business going the distance with that guy, let alone basically getting outboxed and then getting dropped. Now, I heard other people talk about some other stuff going on with Tyson Fury saying they wonder why he didn't have the power he had, you know, with Wilder, that he did not display versus Ngannou. We're not even going to go there. If other people want to uh, talk about that, that's on them. I'm not even going to engage in that. Um, I've moved on from that, and it is what it is. But I will say this much. Um, just watching that fight, and one thing that I do appreciate, it's always somebody that within a few hours is going to repost the fight in its entirety. And then after watching it again and rescoring that fight, and Danu should have won that fight probably best case scenario, maybe 6-4. Worst case scenario, uh 5-4 and 1 even. But he did enough to get the decision. And I just think the reason why they didn't go with Francis Ngannou because one, they had to make a political statement, which it was politics involved, and then they had to make a business decision because come out the gate in his debut fight and win the heavyweight championship because then that would kind of like water down the purity, so called, and the essence of boxing. And then from a business perspective, we all know that Tyson Fury has a signed December 23rd date with Alexander Usyk. So, like I said, it was a lot of politics involved in the decision that was made. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But that's one of the reasons why they didn't let him walk away with that decision. Unless he would have knocked Tyson Fury out, and Ngannou was not walking away with a W. It just couldn't happen, and they wasn't gonna let it happen. But at the end of the day, it was a moral victory for MMA because to me, mostly everybody that saw that fight think Tyson Fury lost that fight. Everybody, everybody think he lost that fight. And for Tyson Fury to go in there and fight the way he did, where he didn't take Ngannou serious, he was getting countered. Had Ngannou used his jab a little bit more and kept racking Tyson Fury to the body because I've seen a couple of body shots that really bothered Tyson Fury. He might have been able to stop Tyson Fury with a body shot. And I did not hear Tyson Fury say he would give him a rematch. And I can tell you right now, a rematch would be huge. And it might not go well in Tyson Fury's favor neither if there's a rematch. So I just think, like I said, unfortunately, politics played a role in, the right decision not being rendered. But anybody with common sense and a clear conscience will just tell the truth. Listen, fights are always, to a certain degree, based off vision. What is your vision? What are you seeing? Because that's how the judges render a decision. They go by pretty much what they're seeing. That's why they talk about effective aggression and all this kind of stuff. Who looks better landed a punches, or who's doing the most work, who looks the best executing their game plan. And that's really how you supposed to judge a fight, not by who's the popular fighter and fight ahead, you know, because at the end of the day, they put pressure on judges to score fights a certain way, or, you know, basically let a certain guy possibly win the fight because they have a huge big money fight on the line. So they do put pressure on judges to score fights a certain way. And like I said, it's not fair. And you know where I'm going with this. Okay. You know where I'm going with this, and you know what I'm trying to say. So, like I said before, um, when you're watching a fight, like I said, you visualize what you're seeing before you. And then I may, at the end of the day, I will move my assessment on who I think, if it goes the distance, who should have won the fight, or did the right guy win the fight. You know, but if you want to go back to certain fights, recent fights, the KSI Tommy Fury fight. I think KSI did too much posing. He did way too much posing instead of fighting. And there were just times where he would just sit up there and pose and not like throw no punches. Now, it was a very close fight. It could have went either way. I saw it as, I saw it as either Fury edging him out, or could have been a draw. So, um, that's, that's the problem. They don't want certain guys to win certain fights, or they go by the politics. So in recent weeks, even though a lot of people thought KSI did enough to win that fight, the last few weeks for the Furies have not been very good. You had Tommy Fury winning a controversial decision versus KSI, and then you have Tyson Fury winning a controversial decision versus Francis Ngannou, in which mostly everybody thought that Tyson Fury didn't win that fight. I haven't seen one person say that Tyson Fury won that fight. And I find that odd. But that's cool that we, getting some truth serum today. Now, Teddy Atlas, he tried to be politically correct, but even Canelo came out and said Francis Ngannou won that fight. And I think a lot of people were shocked at how good Francis Ngannou did. And I'm happy to say that he said he will continue his boxing career. He said this wasn't a one and done thing. He said he will continue to box. He said he proved to himself uh, that he could do both. He proved that he is more than able to compete on a high level in both sports, and I think that's good for him. And I'm glad that he's going to continue his boxing career. But I'm just telling the truth about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. Whether he took the guy lightly or not, that's his fault. Should have trained harder, should have trained better, should have fought better. We all was expected for Tyson Fury to at least end this within maybe 5 or 6 rounds, but yet he goes the distance, he gets dropped, and then you can make an argument that he possibly got dropped twice in that fight. You know, you can make an argument that he got dropped twice in that fight, but he clearly got dropped earlier in the fight in the third round. And I don't think Tyson Fury expected that to happen. None of us expected it to happen. But people were shocked. And I'm pretty sure on Sports Center, they're gonna be talking about this. They're gonna be probably talking about this on Undisputed. But from what I saw, Tyson Fury looked defeated. And I think he knew he was defeated. And you have to wonder, was it Tyson Fury being embarrassed at the fact that he had a life and death fight with a MMA fighter who basically had no professional boxing pedigree whatsoever? But this was a dude that some people were, before the first bell rung, were saying he was possibly among the greatest of all time, one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time. Let's just cut to the chase. You can make an argument that Tyson Fury should have 3 losses. The Otto Wallin fight, they should have stopped that fight because he required 41 stitches. He was cut badly. Usually they would have stopped the fight because I don't even think Klitschko had as many stitches as, as Tyson Fury required. I would have to look that up. But you can make an argument that they should have stopped that fight on cuts. And Otto Wallin would have been rewarded a TKO victory over Tyson Fury. And then we all know that Deontay Wilder knocked Tyson Fury out in the first fight, but Jack Reese gave Tyson Fury extreme amount of time to recover from that fight. So let's not play these games with Tyson Fury. So all this stuff about him being undefeated, because the same way people love to say, well, Floyd should have lost this fight and all this type of stuff, and Andre Ward should have possibly lost the first fight to Sergey Kopylov, in which I thought Andre Ward won the first fight, due to the fact he had a great second half of the fight. So, but nevertheless, the difference between Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward, well, those were actual fighters. But Tyson Fury struggled against a MMA fighter. An MMA fighter who had never fought professional in his life, and then his professional fight debut, he makes a splash. Wins over possibly millions of fans. Has everybody talking about this fight, and even people that don't normally talk about boxing is talking about this fight. You even got Tariq Nasheed talking about this fight. Asking the question, did Tyson Fury really win that fight and deserve to get the W? Well, the answer is absolutely not. Of course he didn't. But we know the politics of boxing. Tyson Fury himself is probably on a plane somewhere, or he's probably back home by now. Who knows? He's probably thinking to himself, man, I got away with it. But now the question is Tyson Fury going to be ready in time for a quick turnaround versus Usyk? I say he isn't. I say that would be disastrous, and I think that would be foolish for him to try to go into another camp with somebody like Usyk. If he struggled against Francis Ngannou, then what in the fuck make you think he gonna go in there and be successful against Usyk? Stop the cap. But anyway, I'll be back with more later on. Definitely Yeah. Um, I'll be back with more later on, but yeah, Tyson Fury, he really need to kick back and really think like, how did I let this happen? How did I embarrass myself and embarrass my sport the way I did? Because he did. He did. All I can say, Usyk is somewhere like, yeah, I got this. But anyway, I'll be back with more. Appreciate you guys.